What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily Rewind. This is where we go back a week and give you all of your tech news stories from the past 7 days in one single video. And after a crazy week of leaks and information throughout this week, we have a great week of tech news. Everything from the Galaxy Buds 2 and like an initial type of review on those and how good or bad they actually are. The gigantic price drop that we're looking to see on the Galaxy Z Fold 3 and a trade-in promotion along with it that will help spur that price decrease, along with information and leaks on the Galaxy Z Flip 3, a special edition of that phone that we're going to see, and so much more. So enjoy this week, and we'll see you in the next one. We have two stories today. The first story is about the OnePlus Tab. That's right, OnePlus tablet that might be coming out due to a new trademark that has been released and leaked out in the European market, and they're using the OnePlus Tab moniker. Now, we don't know if this is ever going to end up coming out or if it really will be a OnePlus tablet, but even the thought and idea of a OnePlus tablet has me salivating due to the fact that the Android tablet market really, especially when you consider the mid to high range value and what you get for that, is quite thin and not very attractive. I love the idea of this due to the fact that you think about tablets really, especially with the iPad Pro line and even the other iPads, kind of turning into tablet, laptop replacements. This could be a beautiful marriage of device that comes out for the Android side. Samsung's really probably the main tablet company people mostly think of. You also have Amazon's, and then you have some Chinese ones as well. But OnePlus jumping into this could be a good thing overall, a thing that an idea of a company doing something that we kind of need on the Android side at this moment in time. So I'm excited about it. What do you think? A OnePlus tablet, which you would think would have great specs and a great price, right? What's not to like about that? And the last story of the day is about the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and the Galaxy Z Fold 3. The Galaxy Z Fold 3, let's talk about that and just get that out of the way. There's been rumors that the Galaxy Z Fold 3 was going to be part of not having a Tom Brown edition. They always have this, at least the last, I think 2 years, definitely last year, have had a Tom Brown edition, which is a fashion designer for their devices. It's like a specifically designed Tom Brown edition. It's more expensive. You get more accessories inside of the box. You get a whole slew of things. You get like a watch, headphones, and the phone itself all designed with Tom Brown. Well, as of right now, and then this year there was rumors that they weren't going to do a Tom Brown edition. They're going to use another fashion designer, and that might stay true because as of right now, we don't know if the Z Fold 3 will have a Tom Brown edition, but we do know, at least from Let's Go Digital, that there will be a Tom Brown edition Z Flip 3, and we don't know exactly what it's going to look like this year, but they made up a little bit of a mock-up here showing that off of what a Galaxy Z Flip 3 Tom Brown edition could look like with the new design of this phone, with the bigger outside display, the double cameras, the flash below that, just the overall design of the sleekness of it. And if it does look like this, obviously when it's closed and stuff, I think that's when it looks very, very nice. That's mwah. I'm loving it right there when it looks like that. Very, interesting, cool design, and nothing completely out of the realm of what Tom Brown might actually do with the design of a Galaxy Z Flip 3. But it looks like the Z Flip 3 is locked in to a Tom Brown edition coming out. And now we just wait for the Z Fold 3, which we should know if they're going to get a Tom Brown edition or not, or some other designer. That information should be out fairly soon. We have a bunch of information to get through, so let's jump right into this. The first story is about Samsung Galaxy Unpacked. It was a story maybe a month or two ago at this point that it was going to happen on August 3rd, and we were living with that for a bit. And then just this past week, we heard August 11th, and it was kind of, is it true? Is it not? We heard it from Korean media, and, tweets were going out about it. And it looks like August 11th will be the date for Samsung Galaxy Unpacked. Why do we say it most likely will be at this point? Like, again, is because we're getting more confirmation from leakers with great reputation, such as Ice Universe, who has August 11th with a check mark next to it, meaning that's when we will see Galaxy Unpacked. And Galaxy Unpacked 2021 will have the Galaxy Z Flip 3, the Z Fold 3, the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, and there's the regular Galaxy Watch 4, as well as the Galaxy Buds 2. All of those devices will be shown off at this event, and August 11th is looking like the concrete date for this. So mark it on your calendars if you haven't already for August 11th. You would assume it's probably going to be sometime in the morning, probably like 9 a.m. Pacific or something like that, I would assume. But we should know more over the next coming weeks when Samsung officially details this information out. But August 11th, Samsung Galaxy Unpacked 2021. Before we continue on with the Samsung stories, I do want to talk about the new Nintendo system that will be released in October 8th of this year, and it looks like they're updating slightly their Nintendo Switch. And here's a little tweet with the information, but this is legit information. It's already been released. Basically, it's their new OLED Nintendo Switch. They're keeping the 7-inch display on here. It'll have an OLED display instead of LCD. The resolution on it will be 1280 by 720, so they're keeping that 720p display on there. It'll have a wide adjustable stand, better speakers, wired Ethernet port when you dock, 64 gigs of storage, which is an increase, 320 grams in weight, plus the Joy-Cons at 420 grams. The price will be $350 for this new Nintendo Switch OLED. Beyond that, not a lot more different with this. Rumors it was going to have 4K ability when it's docked into your TV. It does not have that. It's still at 1080p, and then also the display on this, on the regular one, just walking around, was supposed to be 1080p. It's stuck at 720p, so not a huge upgrade, but October 8th is the release date. Next up is about the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2. We have an initial review from somebody, and also a couple of features, at least one feature that we actually got wrong and we didn't think was coming, but it's actually there. So let's talk about it. So the first one is coming from Ice Universe, who he says that the bass performance is now better on the Galaxy Buds 2. I'm assuming he means against the Galaxy Buds Pro, and we'll talk about that in a minute and the reason why we think it's that one. And then also he put another tweet out saying that the Galaxy Buds 2, and he shows a screenshot, do have active noise cancellation. It was rumors it was going to have active noise, not active noise cancellation, but like basically noise isolation. But it looks like from all these screenshots and things going around, active noise cancellation is within these Galaxy Buds 2, indicating maybe that is why the price might be up to $179 or $170 on these. Now, the initial review we're getting is coming from Tron, and he does have a little, before we jump into it, he does have a little note in here saying that this is his personal opinion, that is his pre-release product, and incorrect information could be in here because things could change. But basically, when we run into his little review, he's saying the Galaxy Buds 2, the sound quality of the Buds Pro, sound quality Buds Pro is way better, but which means, I'm assuming means the Buds Pro do have better sound, but the low frequency sounds like kicks and drums seem like they're slightly boosted from the Buds, like the Buds Live. Contrary to the Buds Pro, active noise cancellation is on par or slightly weaker than the Buds Pro, and he tested it for a short time in an indoor environment. So overall, they look kind of like solid buds, but ultimately maybe not as good as the Buds Pro, which you would expect. These are Buds 2, not Buds Pro. When you put the Pro moniker in there, you expect something better. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 and when that's going to come out, and a little bit of information about the new flagship tablet coming from Samsung. So let's dive right in. This tweet's coming from Tron, who pulled it from the Naver site. Ultimately, he breaks it down with the Galaxy Tab S8 targeting early next year as the release date. So you're probably looking at January, February as the release date for the Galaxy Tab S8. And then also you're looking at a new Ultra variant being included in that. So you have the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra being obviously the highest one that they sell, and a complete new lineup in plan. So everything, I don't know if that means complete redesign and a complete overhaul of the tablet line, but it sounds like more like the latter, like a complete rehaul of it. Maybe a new design, maybe this, maybe that, which we should be seeing a new design anyway with that little kind of cutout notch on there, which is kind of weird to go back to that rather than put it underneath the display. But regardless, Galaxy Tab S8 looking like it's going to come out in early 2022. And then to add on to his tweet, you can see right here, he also talked about the Galaxy S21 series, where there will be new colors with different storage and RAM amounts, but the release will happen after the Galaxy Flip and Fold. So you're probably looking at the new S21 series, not new, but like new RAM and storage amounts, probably coming out really in September, October timeframe for those phones to come out. In terms of storage and RAM amounts, is it going to be more? Is it going to be less? I would expect it's going to be less due to the fact that the S21 Fan Edition's coming out later. So I'd assume they're kind of like lowering it so they kind of make that medium price between the Fan Edition and the regular S21 phone. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And the last story of the day has to do with this phone and the Galaxy Z Fold 3 and how ultimately the Z Fold 3 is not only going to be lower in price, but then maybe when you trade in this or send it back to Samsung, it'll be even lower. So check this tweet out, again, from Tron, who pulled it from the Naver site. And he goes on to say that the Fold 3 Flip 3 will see a noticeable price drop, up to 20% price drop. So you're looking at the Z Fold 3 being as low as $1599. And then he also says various promotions in preparation by returning your previous generation product, AKA the Z Fold or Z Fold 2. And a separate pre-order for the luxury brand is being prepared. So let's talk about what you could expect to see in terms of a final price if you trade in your Galaxy Z Fold 2 for Z Fold 3. So if it is really as low as $1599 base price on the Z Fold 3 and then you trade this phone in, potentially you might get $800 or $900 trade in for this phone, meaning that you would get the Z Fold 3 for what, $699, $799, and then obviously tax, but that's well under $1,000, and that's a much more attractive price for people to do, especially when they're already going to upgrade their phones anyway. If you can get the price lower and a good trade-in value, it's looking like a win-win for everybody. Our first story is about a phone that's coming out next year, the Galaxy S22, and what we expect to see in terms of the camera that's on the back of that phone. Will we see another 108 megapixel camera, or will we see something much larger in terms of megapixels? Let's see. So this tweet's coming from Ice Universe, and back in April, he said that he heard some news that Samsung smartphones are actively changing in terms of sensors. It will return to rationality rather than blindly big numbers. And just 7 hours ago, at the time of making this video, he says, as I said, the S22 Ultra will not blindingly adapt the larger digital 200 megapixel sensor, but will further optimize the third generation 108 megapixel sensor. So if you were hoping for bigger is better in terms of the camera that comes on the back of the S20 Plus line of phones, as you know, we're getting 108 megapixels on these phones lately. The third generation of the 108 megapixel is going to be on the S22 as well. We're not going to jump to the 200 megapixel as was thought, which leads me to think there's some kind of partnership that we've heard between Olympus and Samsung. Are we still going to see that on the S22 Ultra if it's not going to go to 200 megapixels and it'll stay at 108 megapixels, but the third generation of it? Kind of interesting to think about. What do you guys think? And the last story of the day is a heads up of sorts. As you know, when you go through and get a new phone at Samsung, generally a lot of you, including myself, will trade in your devices and get money off on those new devices, or you might just buy a new phone and eventually trade it in or whatever. Samsung now has a renewed certified service of like new, which are used, but they're recertified and everything cleaned up and made whole again if need be, of their own line of phones. Now, this is directly on their website. I'll link it down below. And as you can see from the headline, the sustainability upgrade, it says for more than 20 years, we've sustainably into our daily business. We've recycled 4.5 metric tons of e-waste and reduced our emissions intensity by 38% since 2008. And it says certified renewed phones deliver savings and a lower carbon footprint. And you can get pretty new phones. If you look at it, you get the list. They're pretty much promoting the S20, the Note 10 Plus, the S10e, and then you can also view all their recertified phones, and you can get up to a, again, S20 Ultra phone. And if you do want to get that S20 Ultra phone, you can get it for as low, if you don't want to trade in a phone to go along with it, for $950 or $750 for the S20 Plus or $650 for the S20. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, I guess there's a good reason. You're going to get a 1-year full warranty with the phone, not from the time that it was originally bought, but from the time you originally purchased the phone. And then you can also add on Samsung Care Plus as well. So Apple has a great refurbished line of phones as well, and devices and stuff, and Samsung's following suit at this point and really throwing their back behind it. So I like where this is going. It makes you able to save a few bucks here or there. It's not extreme savings. And if you do want to trade in your phone that you currently have, you can also do trade-ins with this, and you get the phone for as low as like 550 bucks for the Ultra, and obviously cheaper for some of the older phones as well. Let's get into the tech news. Our first story today is about the Google Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. Now these phones, especially the 6 Pro, we've heard that it's going to be a flagship phone, and these specs just truly show off how much of a flagship phone it's going to be. Now it is a candy bar phone, but beyond that, which most people like kind of candy bar phones, I'm not a huge candy bar phone lover, this is a massive, massive upgrade over the 5, the Pixel 5, and just, it's a true flagship phone. Check these specs out that are coming from Front Page Tech's website. I linked their article down below if you want to read it in its entirety, but let's first start off with the Pixel 6. Pixel 6 with the 6.4-inch AMOLED display. The camera will be at 50 megapixels. That's right, 50 megapixels. 12 megapixels ultra wide. The front camera will be 8 megapixels. And then you're gonna end up getting a 4614 milliamp battery. I love it, big, big battery in there. It's gonna have a Google processor, that's right, not gonna have a Qualcomm Snapdragon in there, it'll have the Google's own processor in there, which we've heard that before. 8 gigs of RAM, storage will be 128 or 256, and it's gonna run Android 12 out of the box. Now let's jump to the 6 Pro. This is the big, big boy. 6.71 inch display. I love a OLED, plastic OLED display. You're also looking at cameras 50 megapixel wide, 48 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. I'm hoping that we're gonna get a crazy zoom on that with a megapixel that high. We'll wait and see though. Front camera 12 megapixels, battery 5,000 milliamps. It's all so cool. Google processor again, RAM 12 gigabytes of RAM, and a Google phone. You gotta be kidding me. This is freaking amazing. 128, 256, and 512 storage allotments, and it's gonna, again, run Android 12 out of the box. Check out the line at the bottom here. This is for the 6 and the 6 Pro. Google is committed to at least 5 years of software updates. You don't see that a lot on other Android phones. You see it on Apple phones, but this is a big get for Google to say, we're gonna give you 5 years of software updates so that if you keep this phone for 5 years, you're gonna still get updates. That's, again, a great selling point. And then beyond the specs, if we just talk about the phone overall, I think if they can get this price really, really good, it's gonna be a no-brainer for people to buy. If you're looking to go to Android, it's got a very clean experience with the software. It's fairly easy to use, and you can still customize it if you want in certain areas. You can't really add themes, but maybe they'll add themes or something in this, but who knows, probably won't. But still, it's gonna be Android, so you're gonna get all the luscious Android multi-window stuff, and you know, you can change your icons and all your wallpapers and your lock screens and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really, really looking forward to this Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. And the last story of the day is, what do you think is the most popular app used on Android, and what is the most popular Samsung app? Not what the people on Galaxy phones use the most, but the actual Samsung app that's the most popular. So I'll tell you, before we jump into this list, I would, and I don't know for sure, but I would guess my 2 most used apps are YouTube and Google Search and Instagram, Twitter, probably those 4, and it depends on the day which one I use the most, but those are probably my most 4. But let's see what everybody else uses. So this list was compiled by ComScore, and ComScore released this information. As you can see, the top used app, Google Play Store, which I do not use Google Play. I probably don't even go in there once a week. If I do, it's just to update my apps manually. But ultimately, I don't really ever go into the Google Play Store beyond that. Google Search, I do use, like I said. YouTube, yup. Gmail, I guess I forgot about Gmail, so yeah, I probably use that a lot. Facebook Messenger, I use a fair amount. Google Maps. So all these Google apps obviously are the most popular ones. The 13th one, look at that, Samsung Calculator is the most used official Samsung app. Now, this isn't just for Samsung phones, this is for all Android phones, but the Samsung Calculator app is one of the most popular used because Samsung phones are so popular. And then towards the bottom there, you also see Samsung email. And when I look at all these, I don't use Pandora. I don't even have Pandora installed on my phone at all. Beyond that, I use all these apps at least once a year, because some of these like Google Clock, I use a Samsung Clock, but ultimately I use all these apps except that Pandora app. So I leave the question. First story of the day, actually all the stories today are about the Galaxy Z Fold 3, but the first few little bits of information about the Galaxy Z Fold 3 are coming from the Galox and some observations he's seen on some 360 renders that Evan Blass has leaked out. These are real official renders of the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and they show off some interesting information. I think it's going to make you happy. Definitely. So let's jump into it. This tweet, like I said, comes from the Galox, and this is very, very nice what he saw right here. But basically, if you see right here, and you can see the phones matched up, the one in silver is the Galaxy Z Fold 3, the one in bronze is the Galaxy Z Fold 2. So the first one is the gap is smaller. So when you close the phone, you can see the gap between it being closed on the Z Fold 3, the silver one, versus the Z Fold 2 on the right, the bronze one, is smaller now. So there isn't as much a gap. So meaning putting it in your pocket when it's closed will feel a little bit more comfortable, and it'll be a little bit more lined, like almost like a square shaped, rather than having a little bit of a gap in there. The next one, 2 more microphones are at the top. So on that silver photo in the top left, you see that there's 2 microphones where there was not before. So this is also good news. This also means we should have better sound when it's recording, better microphones. And then also let's look at much bigger speakers. So it looks like it's probably going to be about a 20 to 30% increase in sound quality. We're now going to have 10 holes at the bottom. That's where the sound comes out. You can see it in those silver photos. If you count those little dots, there's 10 of them versus only 8 on the Z Fold 2. So we should see a 20 to 30%, maybe more, increase in sound quality and volume, bass as well, for the Z Fold 3 over the Z Fold 2, which the Z Fold 2 already has really good speakers. Lastly, you see a bit smaller camera bump. Again, if you look at the Z Fold 3 versus the Z Fold 2, you can see that the camera sticks out a little less, takes out seemingly a little less square footage on the overall body of the phone. So overall, very, very nice little bit of information that the Galax kind of saw in these things. And I'm already looking forward to the Z Fold 3 anyway, but when you add in, less of a gap, you add in better microphones to record things with if you're doing memos or video chats or just regular speakerphone chats, that's going to be improved. When you're looking at better speakers to get better bass, watching videos is going to sound better and louder. Maybe you're giving volume off to a room, a smaller room for people, and you want them to hear what's going on. That all equals, and then smaller camera bump, it all leads to a better overall experience. Super, super dope information leak right there. And then the last bit of information, this is coming out from Max Jamber and on his All About Samsung website, and I will link his tweet and the article down below. But basically in the article, a couple of the main points that I wanted to stick out here were some of the specs, because we haven't really seen this too much, and that is that the 7.6-inch main display is going to have a resolution of 1768 by 2208. So that'll be the resolution of the big display on there. The cover display will be 6.23 inches, and also both displays will have 120 hertz. We've known this. That's not really that new. Also, the processor inside across the world will be the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888. It's not going to be the Plus or the Pro version, just the plain old Snapdragon 888, the same one that comes in the Galaxy S22 Ultra here in America. Also, if you're in Europe, it's seemingly kind of disappointing, but it looks like you guys are only going to get 128 or 256 gigs of storage inside of the box when you buy the phone. 128 is extremely low for a very expensive phone, but I guess they're really going to try to get this price low. Maybe the one that's $1,599 is going to end up being 128 gigs, which is a bit of a disappointment. 4,400 milliamp battery inside, charges only at 25 watts with a cable, which is super slow for a almost $2,000 phone. And then also remember the cameras will be triple 12 megapixel sensors. I think the big takeaway disappointment from Max's article is saying that 128 or 256 would be the only storage allotments over in Europe. Hopefully in America and elsewhere you get bigger storage allotments. 256 honestly is fine with me, but 128 is ultra low. I mean, I could probably live off it, but I'd be a little tight towards, you know, 6 months in probably. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. I almost forgot what I usually said in the past. We have a cool little Easter egg. I found out about this from Max Jamber. If you go into Bixby, and as you can see from his headline, and say that, it gives you a cool little Easter egg. So let's do it. I'll do it live right now. So I have my Samsung phone. I have my Galaxy phone. I'm going to hit Bixby. And I'm going to hit the little microphone at the bottom. When is the next Galaxy Unpacked?
The newest folding phone is almost here. Keep checking Samsung.com for updates.
Super cool. The newest folding phone is almost here. Keep checking Samsung.com for updates. So as of now, if you go into Bixby and you ask this, they're letting you know, and we've known this. We've seen so many leaks. This isn't really like a big surprise, but it's really nice and cool to hear. Samsung officially letting people know that their next big announcement will be the folding phones. Obviously the Flip and the Fold, and some other devices as well, such as the Watch and the Galaxy Buds 2. Awesome, cool stuff. I love little Easter eggs like this. Did you know about this? Or was I the first one to tell you? Or did you read it online? Let me know in the comments down below. Really cool stuff. I like when companies do this. And our last story of the day is more of like a compilation of things showing what Evan Blass, who's an amazing leaker on the community and Twitter and online, he gets so much, you know, of these real leaks, and he leaks them out almost on a daily basis, especially days before the events take place. And he has a massive amount of he's literally leaked out everything that's coming out at Galaxy Unpacked, like real life images of this. And Let's Go Digital put together this little thing here that shows off all the devices that he leaked out, and it's just like a collage of photos showing off. You can see on the left the Galaxy Watch 4, and then the Galaxy Z Flip, the Galaxy S21 Fan Edition, which will be announced after, probably in October, September, October. Then you have another Galaxy Watch 4, you have the Z, I think that's the Z Fold, and then the S21 Fan Edition again, and again a Galaxy Watch 4, I think that's the Fold again. It's amazing all the information this guy gets. I don't even know where he gets it, but he is a master of getting this stuff. So it's really cool to see it in this collage of information right in front of your face over the last couple of days, weeks. He's gotten this and compiled all this information, and Let's Go Digital also for creating that little thing. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every single day. My question out to you guys is, which time of the year is your favorite in terms of leaks? Like, is it the Fold season? Even though you might not buy a Fold, maybe you're just excited to see what they're going to talk about with it. Or is it the S line? Is it the Note line when we had it or have it in the future? Is it some other time of period with some other device? Is it video games season? Like, let me know in the comments down below. I think for me, at this point in my life, it's definitely the Fold leaks. Those are my favorite kind of leaks. And then also, when the new video game systems come out, I totally get back. Even though I don't game a lot, I still love hearing about what they're going to do with all that kind of stuff too. So I'm into the video game seasons as well, even though that's kind of almost 5 to 10 years apart from each other. Let me know about you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we will see you down the road.